welcome to Accounted Cross Stitch. I'm Nikki and this is my 5th Flosstube. It has been about 3 weeks since I last filmed and I have a ton to show today, so let's just jump in. So I have no starts or finishes. I thought I was going to have a finish to show, but I did not get Extraordinary Birds done yet. So that will be my first whip to show. So the final piece of the pattern came out on Friday. I am filming this on Monday, which, by the way, if you're in the US like me, happy Labor Day. I am enjoying my day off. But yeah, so I will be spending the rest of the day trying to finish this week's clue so that next time I film, I hope to be able to show you an FFO. I ordered a frame for this. It is currently being held hostage by my leasing office. They don't like to tell me when I get a package. But I hope to retrieve that this week and get this FFO'd, and I'm really excited to have it on my wall. So you see this week's pattern is, I have done the bottom half of this giant bird. It's apparently called a demon duck of doom, which is terrifying. And I mean, it itself is kind of terrifying. It's definitely like dinosaur vibes, right? It is like extinct. I don't know. I should have read the whole blurb about the bird because I don't know if it's like actually prehistoric or what, but it's large. It's a lot of stitches, definitely the biggest clue, I think. And I hope to finish it today. So very excited to have this done and already signed up for my next SAL, but I'll talk about this in a minute. My next whip is Great White Christmas by Boomerang Stitches. I made really great progress on this. It almost looks done, right? But there's going to be a band of text at the top that says I'm wishing for a, so then I'm wishing for a Great White Christmas. And that band is actually like a ton of stitches. The background of the band is stitched and the words are the fabric that show through, so it's like really stitch heavy. So I have a ton of work still to do on this actually, but I'm really excited with how it's coming along. I'm really hoping to finish it in September. That might be overly ambitious, especially with the other SAL that I have signed up for. That may slow me down, but I love it so much. I guess it's fine. Like if I finish it in October or even like mid-November, it's fine. I want to definitely put it up right after Thanksgiving have it up for the entire Christmas season. My next whip is Debut. This is one of the Taylor Swift mini albums by NatX Stitches. I have been bringing this with me to my stitching group on Monday nights. So I'm getting really good progress on this. It's really close to being done. There's gonna be another little corner of green up here, and then I have to fill in the rest of her hair, and then there's gonna be a tiny bit of back stitch around her face. But almost done. And after this one, I have more Taylor Swift mini albums to go. Like you can see, I have my wall of Taylor Swift mini albums back here, but Life of a Showgirl is available. Well, the album's coming out October 3rd, but NatX Stitches, this pattern designer, has already released the pattern for that mini album. So I'm looking forward to starting that as soon as I finish this one. And then I also still need to do Reputation, which I saved for last because I was waiting for her to release Taylor's version, and my heart is broken, but I will stitch the original version of Reputation just like I did with Debut, and we can hope that maybe someday we get those vault songs. By the way, if you are a Swiftie like me, you should check out Bridget the Museum Stitcher's most recent Flosstube. I think she posted it like yesterday or the day before. She shows a Taylor Swift inspired quilt that is the most amazing. Like I don't know anything about quilting, but I was blown away by it. Please go look at it. And it was such a great idea. It makes me want to do something like that with granny squares. She does quilted squares for different nights of the Eras tour. So you should definitely check that out. And then my last whip is Boot Scootin' Spooky. I have the pattern here. So this is what the pattern looks like. I am going to be color converting this to make her super girly. She's going to have a hot pink cowboy hat and cowboy boots, or I should say cowgirl hat, I guess. And I'm gonna change the color of some of this background to like purple and blue, and then the stitching along the hat, I'm going to add some sparkly pink beads. So far I haven't gotten to any of the changes I'm going to make. I've just been doing like just the basic ghost part, and then the black outline will be the shadow of the hat. Yeah, now I'm wondering if I should have done that black in like a darker pink. I don't know. We'll see. It's not very much, so I can frog it out and change it to pink if I need to. But this is a cute little project. I don't know if I'm going to prioritize it enough to have it done to put up for this Halloween. I'm kind of already putting up Halloween decorations. But it's so cute. I love it. I can't wait to start the pink. Okay, and so my next segment is admiring. I have lots of Stitchy things to talk about in admiring this week. So I mentioned a couple weeks ago I was adding this new segment to my Flosstubes where I will talk about someone else's project or a pattern or something that just blew me away that I want the world to see. And I have a few this week. So first, my friend Emily just finished this, she finished the Stitchy Bug by Boomerang Stitches, so I will insert a picture here. She went to StitchCon with me this past year, and Boomerang Stitches had a trunk show, and so she grabbed this pattern and I grabbed City Lights with the pigeon, which I'm very excited to start hopefully soon as well. But Emily already finished her Stitchy Bug. If you saw us at StitchCon, you were more likely to remember seeing her than me because she had absolutely glorious purple hair at StitchCon. I think everyone stopped by to compliment her hair, so you might remember seeing her, and this is her project, and I am obsessed with it. She didn't do the called for colors. She got a silk pack from Paintbox Threads on Etsy. And she was initially she wasn't expecting it to be as variegated as it was, and she wasn't sure how she felt about that, but she pushed through, and I love how the variegation came out in this, and so I just wanted everyone to see how pretty it is. And then speaking of Emily and Paintbox Threads, I was fangirling over her silks that she got so much that she sent me some for my birthday. This is a different silk pack than the one that she bought. This one is the Cottage Garden box. And these are the colors. They're so pretty. Oh my gosh, I just love this like little girly section over here, and they're really, really, really soft. I haven't stitched with very many silks, so I've just been like patting them. They're so nice. So I need y'all's help. I don't know what to stitch with this. In the 2-year history that I have been cross-stitching, my process has been that I see a pattern that I like, and then I buy floss and fabric to go with that pattern. And I usually just use the called for floss. I'm usually not super creative with my color conversions. Not yet. I think I'll get there. But so now I have this beautiful palette of colors, and I need to find a pattern to go with it, and I don't know how to operate in that order. I don't have like a huge stash of patterns built up, and I don't know, I mean, like, my first instinct is not to use these piecemeal. My first instinct is that they look so pretty together that I want to choose a pattern that will use a whole bunch of them together. And I don't know what pattern that is. So if you are looking at this and thinking, hey, that would look really pretty with this pattern, please tell me. Or if you have a process for you know, how you would suggest I go about picking out a pattern to go with these, please tell me in the comments. But I love them a lot, and I do have one pattern that I was kind of thinking about. I picked this up at one of the Stitchy shops that I went to when I was on my North Carolina vacation in July. This is From Velvet to Linen by Kathy Barrick. And definitely these colors are a lot more muted than these colors, but I like bright colors. I think I would like a version of this that is brightened up. The floss list for this is definitely way more colors that are in this floss pack, and I would probably need a lot more like shades of green. And I don't know if it would use the pretty purples, but it would use the blues and the pinks and the yellows and some of the greens. So maybe I'll try to do a floss conversion with this. I had put in a 1, 2, 3 stitch order this week anyway for something else, and so I grabbed all of the DMCs that I didn't already have for this. So I'm gonna lay out all of the DMCs and put them next to these, and then see if I can figure out like a slightly brighter color conversion for this. But I'm not 100% sold on this idea. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think this is a terrible idea. Or if you have a better pattern suggestion to go with that floss. But those are my thoughts so far. And then the last thing that I have on my admiring list this week is this picture that I'm going to insert from Noctiflora Designs Instagram. Noctiflora just announced her new SAL. It's called, I think, the Toad Ghoul Terrarium. I did her Vampirum SAL last year, and it was a ton of fun. I have it up on my wall right now. I told you I was already putting up my Halloween decorations, so it's up. I love looking at it, and I love her art in general. I've been meaning to do another one of her patterns because she posts these amazing drawings and paintings that she does, and then she turns them into cross stitch patterns, and they're weird and a little bit spooky and just very, very visually appealing to my personal taste. So I'm excited to do her new SAL. It's already over, but when she initially announced it, she did a giveaway, and I entered the giveaway. And one of my other like in real life Stitchy friends who I actually went to middle school with, she saw the giveaway when I had posted it and also entered, and neither of us won, but we decided we're gonna do the stitch along together. So we have both ordered fabric for that, and isn't this color palette amazing? I can't wait to see what the actual pattern looks like. I can't wait to have this on my wall. I ordered the sparkly black Ada. I think it was called Midnights, maybe? It's from Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy, and I love it, and I hope it comes soon so I can start the title text where it says Toad Ghoul Terrarium. That piece of the chart has been released, so I will be able to start as soon as I have all of my supplies. And I ordered all of the floss colors that I didn't already have from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. So hopefully everything will be here soon, and I'm excited to start that. Another Stitchy thing I wanted to talk about is one of the Stitchy games. I've never done any of the Stitchy games before. I heard a lot of you talk about like the Great British Bake Off one, or Whip Go, or I think one's going on for Big Brother right now where people will like set different reasons, like if this happens in the reality show, then I will work this many stitches on this project. So I was watching Coffee Stitcher this week, and he actually mentioned he isn't going to do the football one, and I was like, there's a football one? Before I move on, you should also check out Coffee Stitcher. He gave me a shout out last week, and I went and watched his video, and he mentioned that he's thinking about doing a Wizard of Oz project parade, and I am excited to see that. It will probably just be a laundry list of patterns that I have to buy immediately because I love The Wizard of Oz so much. You may have noticed that 2 of my cats are named after Wicked. I have Elphaba and Fiero. Fiero is the orange one who will come and say hi occasionally. I think he's taking a nap right now. I don't think he's gonna say hi today. But yeah, I'm a giant Wizard of Oz fan, and you should check out Coffee Stitcher. But yeah, so he mentioned he is not gonna do the football Stitchy game, and so then I was like, well, what is this? Let me go find it. And so that took me to Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She talked about doing the football Stitchy game, and then she said the person who originated it is Kim Hollenbach on YouTube, and I think on Instagram she's Spartan Stitcher. And so then I went and watched her videos. I'm gonna have to link so many people down below. I went down a whole rabbit hole this week. But so her idea for stitching for football is that you would choose an NFL team, or a college football team also would be fine, and you would stitch a certain number of stitches for how many points that team gets during the game each week. And so I am actually not a huge football fan. I don't know that I would call myself a football fan at all, but last year my partner's friends, I think they just needed an even number, but they talked me into joining their fantasy football league. And I was like, fine, but I'm going to do this in an annoying Taylor Swift themed manner. So make peace with that. And I, of course, drafted Travis Kelce first, and I named my team Ball Too Well. And I'm very proud of that team name. If you are trying to be annoying in your boyfriend's fantasy football league, I have more Taylor Swift team name ideas to share. So, let me know. And, so I'm doing fantasy football again this year because it turned out to actually be really fun. It turns out you don't actually have to watch or really understand football. You just have to be able to I like numbers. I'm a spreadsheet girly. I've talked about that before. I'm an accountant. If you give me an excuse to make a spreadsheet, I'm going to have a weird amount of fun making that spreadsheet. So fantasy football is that. It's an excuse to make a spreadsheet. And yeah, it's fun with numbers. So I'm having fun with that. And so I thought, since I don't actually have an NFL team that I really follow, that I would do this Stitchy game with my fantasy team. The Stitchy game, by the way, is called Gridiron Grind. I thought that was a cute name for it because it goes with football, but also like grid for stitching, right? So I'm excited to do that. I think I'm going to stitch 5 stitches per point that my fantasy team gets. I think a lot of people are doing 10 stitches per point for their NFL team, but fantasy points are different than regular football points, and you get a lot more of them, so that's actually fairly ambitious. But I'm gonna try to do 5 stitches per point, and the football season starts this week, and I'm going to start with this project. I'm gonna do all of my Taylor Swift themed projects, obviously. This one's almost done. So as soon as I get my stitches on this one, I'm going to move on to Life of a Showgirl and then Reputation. And I think it's actually conceivable that I will finish all 3 of these during football season. And so if so, I will move on to the original versions of the albums that I have already stitched Taylor's versions for. So like, for example, I stitched Taylor's version of Fearless. So if I need another Swiftie project to do for Gridiron Grind, I will do the original version of Fearless next. And my last stitchy topic of the day is StitchCon. Keepsakes announced the dates for StitchCon 2026 this past week, and registration is this Wednesday, I think. Please check Keepsakes. They posted on both Facebook and Instagram all of the details in the StitchCon website. They will announce, because I don't want to tell you wrong when registration is and screw some people up, but they have announced all of that information, and I am signing up for Weekend A. I know it's a little bit of a lottery, like you register and then they're going to draw 300 names for the first round of registration, and then if you don't get in, you're on a wait list. I am planning on going. So hopefully I get picked in the first round like I did last year, but if I don't, I'm gonna hang out on that wait list. I'm gonna book the travel, I'm gonna put my PTO in, and fingers crossed that I get in. So I hope to see people at StitchCon next year. I had a really amazing time this past year. That was what inspired me to start my Flosstube. So I really hope that works out, and I'm looking forward to it next year and hoping to go to like maybe 1 or 2 other retreats next year. I'm waiting for them to announce dates. I know it's Queen City Stitchers in Charlotte, North Carolina. They, or Queen City Stitch Retreat. They're doing the Chatelaine retreat in, I want to say July, and they already announced that and did registration for that for 2026, but I can't go to that because that weekend in July I am moving apartments. But I know that they do like the main Queen City Stitch Retreat in October, so I am anxiously awaiting them announcing exact dates for that, hoping to sign up to go to that in 2026. I'm originally from North Carolina, so always happy for an excuse to road trip down there. So yeah, but wish me luck for StitchCon, and I hope to see you there. And now I'm going to move on to knitting. I finished these socks. These will be a Christmas present for one of my friends. I love this ankle socks. It's just like a super basic sock pattern, and I just do like 10 rows of ribbing at the beginning and then start the heel. So it's just a very quick little ankle sock. It's great to keep in your purse for public transportation knitting. I like to knit on the Metro here in DC. And so I'm excited to have these done. I actually finished them yesterday and started blocking them, and they are still slightly damp, so they are going to go back on the blocking boards. I am still working on my Musselburgh hat. Well, one of my Musselburgh hats. I just can't stop knitting these. I showed the very beginning of this one last week, and now I've made much better progress on it. We have a good chunk of a hat. So this is the one where you basically knit 2 hats and then you flip them inside of each other. And the pattern is by Isolde Teague. I highly recommend it if you knit hats. I really love this pattern. So this one I'm gonna knit the first half of it in this fun variegated green yarn. This is Malabrigo sock. And when I get to the halfway point, I'm going to switch to this nice variegated tan. So it will be reversible. It'll be green on one side and tan on the other. And also when it's done, if you flip the brim up, you will have the contrast color showing on the brim. So I think that will be fun. Or maybe cuff. Is it cuff, not brim? I don't know. I feel like a brim is when your hat like sticks out, right? I think I'm saying the wrong word. And then my other knitting fun, I know I've been complaining about that shawl that I'm doing with the cables that are killing me. I'm just gonna insert a picture here. I didn't bring it over because I made very little progress on it, but that is still killing me, and I need to finish it soon because I have another shawl that I'm really, really excited to start. So I'm gonna try really hard to focus on knitting that over the next week or 2 and get it done. I'm pretty close to being done. I'm just moving really slowly. But the other shawl that I'm excited to start is from this. So this was my birthday present from my partner. It is from the West Knits Yarn Along. If you knit, you may have heard of Stephen West. And every year, he has a ton of shawl patterns on Ravelry, and some like socks and sweaters and other stuff, but I'm obsessed with his shawl patterns. And every year he does a yarn along where you sign up in like February or March, and then the packages come in May, June, and July. It's 3 packages, and each one is a shawl kit, and it is yarn that is hand dyed exclusively for that shawl pattern that gets added to your Ravelry account as part of the yarn along. So this is one of the kits from this year. This is the yarn. It's from Dark Omen Yarn, and I'm in love with it. It's very like pumpkin spice, right? It feels very seasonally appropriate, and I will insert a photo of the shawl pattern that goes with it. You can see this is also just very pumpkin spice. I love the way this fade works with this pattern, like from like this creamier color to the one in between to the super dark spicy color. It's perfect for this shawl pattern. I'm sure this shawl pattern would look good in any fade though. Stephen West makes the shawl patterns available to the public, I think like 6 months after the yarn along. It may already be available. Well, probably not, probably just a couple more months, but you'll be able to buy it and do it with any 3-color fade, I think. So I'm excited to start that shawl as soon as I finish the cables. Those are my knitting updates. And then I just have a few books to share with you. I showed this one in my last episode that I had just received it and I hadn't read it yet, but I was excited to read it. And I read it and I loved it so much. I wanted to update y'all on it. So this is Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. I grabbed it because I read another T. Kingfisher book last year called A Sorceress Comes to Call. They are both dark fairy tale retellings. And so this one is a retelling of Snow White, and it's from the perspective of a healer who, like, the king knows that his daughter is being poisoned, or thinks that his daughter is being poisoned, and he brings in a healer who specializes in poisons to try to help her. So this is from the perspective of her. So this is not your typical, like, this is not Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, but it is a dark retelling of Snow White, and it's so good. And there's a really great character in it who is a cat, and the cat does not die. This isn't a major plot point. It's not a spoiler to say that the cat doesn't die. But like, I don't know if you're like me, as soon as you see a cute little animal in any book or movie or TV show, you're Googling, does the dog die? Does the cat die? Do I need to stop reading this halfway through because I got too attached to this animal? So that was me halfway through this book when I realized, like, I love this cat more than anything in the world, and if anything happens to it, I'm gonna throw this book off my balcony. And you know, we don't want to be hitting people with flying books, so I had to look up and see if the cat was gonna be okay, and the cat is okay, and the cat is just a really, really, really great cat character. So if you like T. Kingfisher or dark fairy tale retellings or cats, I highly recommend this book. It was a lot of fun, super well written. I'm gonna read more T. Kingfisher books now. She has several that I haven't read yet. So those are on my list. And then I listened to a couple audiobooks. I listened to James by Percival Everett. That book is just cleaning up at the literary awards this year, so I thought I should read it. It is, if you read Huck Finn in high school like me, it is the story of Huck Finn from the perspective of James, or Jim. They call him Jim in Huck Finn. And so, I mean, it's kind of an upsetting book. Like, it is the story of someone who is trying to escape from slavery. So it is exactly as upsetting as you think it's gonna be. But it's a great book. I do wish I had read Huck Finn again first, because I read Huck Finn in high school 20 years ago, and I don't remember a lot of details or a lot of plot points. So reading a version of that from a different perspective, I think would have been better if I had reread Huck Finn first. So I recommend doing that, and I recommend James. It's a great book. And then the other audiobook that I just listened to that was interesting was Aftertaste, and I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of the author, so I'm gonna put it in the bottom here. I got the audiobook from Book of the Month Club. I think it's a debut author, and it is a story about someone who can kind of taste ghosts, not the ghosts themselves, but like their memories of notable foods that they have eaten in their life. And I thought that that was a really, really interesting idea for a book, and so I was excited to read that, and I thought it was just okay. It started out strong, again, super cool concept, but the plot, as it moved through, like the resolution, it started to kind of lose me. It didn't really hold my attention. I mean, I don't want to say like it got weird because it's a book about someone who can taste goats. We needed to be prepared for that to be weird. But I don't know. I thought it was just okay. But yeah, that was Aftertaste. And those are my books. And if you are still here, you probably share all of the exact same interests as me. So I want to tell you about a show that I saw. I went to New York City a couple weeks ago. So obviously I'm done talking about cross stitch and I'm almost done filming this whole episode, but let me tell you about the Phantom of the Opera and then we'll go. I went to New York City. I took the Metro up a couple weeks ago. The purpose of my trip was to see the Lady Gaga concert at Madison Square Garden, which was amazing. She's just an amazing performer. But while I was there, I saw a show called Masquerade, which is the Phantom of the Opera. It's an immersive new production of the Phantom of the Opera. If you saw or have heard of Sleep No More, which I know got a lot of press a few years ago, I think it's like that, but Phantom of the Opera, where you walk through a building and each room is a different scene of the Phantom of the Opera. And you have a cast that, like, the show has multiple casts each night, and you'll have a cast that goes with your audience group as you move through the show. So you have the same Phantom all the way through, and there's another Phantom performing for the next group of people. I am a giant Phantom of the Opera fan. I grew up listening to my mom's Andrew Lloyd Webber compilation CD, so like I think that some of the Phantom of the Opera songs would be like the first non-children's songs that I ever heard. So getting to see that was amazing. It just opened. It's brand new. It was still in previews technically when I saw it, but if you have the opportunity to be in New York City and get tickets to that, I highly recommend it because it's absolutely amazing. You definitely need to be a Phantom of the Opera fan to like a weird level like I am, but if you were a weird dramatic theater kid in high school and you want to dress up and be like basically on stage as the Phantom of the Opera happens around you, go to New York and go see Masquerade because it was just a once in a lifetime experience. I'm so happy that I went and I want everyone to know about it. So sorry for going on that off topic subject during my Flosstube, but I need everyone to know about the Phantom of the Opera and Masquerade. So that is everything that I have this week. And I think I will be back in 2 or 3 weeks. I will hopefully have a FFO'd Extraordinary Birds to show you, and hopefully we'll have a good start on my toad ghoul terrarium. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching.